We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
I like the way you ride with that booty on me.
It's going down.
Go down while you looking lonely.
It's going down.
Come around and it's all on me.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
So, new year, new intro. Let's get it. I'm not so sure if I'm going to promise to be a brand new me this year, but my reactions are going to be a lot differently. I'm not going to be doing the most. I'm not going to be doing above and beyond, and I'm going to stay in my lane. That is how 2026 is going to be from here out. Either roll with me or I'm going to roll over you or around you. Whichever is easier.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Song like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I would be stupid if we not on it.
Watch me flex. Still am on a healing journey of sorts because I'm trying, in addition to maintaining my or decreasing my weight, because I should not be the weight that I am. I'm big back, but I'm beyond big back at this time. But my reality is I am trying to find natural ways to decrease my inflammation. So I'm doing things to protect my peace. One of those is dealing with a narcissistic professional martyr. I have found that there are passive aggressive. I'd love to come and just float in your pool with you, knowing that's a loaded statement. It's meant to trigger guilt because I'm successful enough to have a home with an in-ground pool, heated saltwater pool at that. And I'm getting ready to move on to hitting my FIRE number, which is financially independent and to retire early. While they're having, or most people that have to restart their whole career, I'm looking at the hope that maybe in the next 5 to 7 years, I will be able to either retire comfortably or retire from one position or type of work to move on to something else. But they can't fathom that, so they would rather me feel guilty about even thinking about doing something like that. Well, don't have time for it. You can kick rocks. I acknowledge that not everybody is going to really be happy for you. They're not going to approve of anything that will allow you to increase the value of your current house above even where it stands today. Because I think it's outrageous. I know if I had to move out and start all over again and try to get this house at the elevated market value, I wouldn't be able to get in. Now I wouldn't be able to get in. But I am manifesting being of that ilk, that even if I did move out or I had to buy a house similar to what this house is valued at or above, I got it. That's what I'm manifesting also in the next 1 to 2 years. I don't need someone's stamp of approval for my own financial freedom. I'm going to go get it whether you hating on me or not. Also, I'm tired of extending an invitation to a possible in-home vacay when you can't even, when that person doesn't know how to relax, because that is a flaw. That's a them problem. That's not a flaw of my hospitality. I don't have to pull people in anymore. Shoot, my pool is still closed, and it's also closed to drama. I'm sorry. I known in the past where my birthdays were ruined by someone's inability to enjoy themselves, someone's selfish inability because they didn't want to do what I wanted to do, which was eat chicken and donuts at Jefferson's Monument in D.C., or not being able to pull the plug on a dog that need to go and walk into the light. And they were failing for months, even prior to the last medical emergency. Look, because someone else can't make hard decisions or choices, if you try to continue to pull these people in, it also becomes your emergency. Just because I don't want to keep being on this hamster wheel of them not wanting advice or people not wanting advice. They just want an audience, because not everyone can go with you. If you're moving on into a positive rant, they're going to be mad as hell. But if you're going to be able, and me in particular, if I'm going to be able to completely enjoy and to continue to look forward this next chapter of my life, which I am writing myself, I got to break some of these passive aggressive, narcissistic traits, martyrdom cycles. I can't be a part of that cycle anymore and move on into a positive realm. It's only positive vibes over here, y'all. And you can't roll with that and intentionally seek positivity, you can't roll with me. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to be mad. Also, and I say all of this to say is because, and even my podcast is late because I seriously didn't have the strength to podcast or to publish a podcast. Why? I was supposed to be out in Sedona, but since diesel is $12,000 a gallon, I changed that until later. And until all the nonsense in the Straits of Hormuz calm down, I may have to change the dates again. But that's cool. It'll just give me more time and money to basically gather up all the cash and have it in my kitty. So I will be able, by the time I go out there, the trip will be paid for. You know, don't need to take out a loan to take a vacation. And then I can write about the experience without having such a huge burden lingering overhead. So I had to do a couple of things. I had to get and prepare my RV to go out west. I had to get it serviced from the front bumper to the back bumper, 2 different service lines, Camping World and Mercedes dealership. The engine on my 2017 Synergy is a 2016 Sprinter engine. There are no authorized Mercedes dealership with the lift equipment to be able to take care of that here in Chattanooga. So I have to drive it up to the dealership in Knoxville. Cool. There's a KOA Sweetwater, didn't disappoint. But the rest of the preparatory work to go out on the RV is hard, because a couple of things have transitioned from the last time that I actually went camping. Even though I'm kind of high risk because my mother died of metastatic breast cancer at 48, I've had several aunts die of ovarian cancer. My grandmother died of colon cancer. I've had extended genetic testing I'm BRCA1 and 2 negative, and I have no other anomalies as far as my genetic code, that as far as I've been tested so far. And I'm also still getting just screening breast MRIs, which in itself is expensive, but the last one that I just had last week was negative. I say all of those things to say is I am completely off hormonal replacement therapy. And I transitioned to using the Black Girl vitamins, menopause, which, if I'm still and perfectly honest, has been extremely helpful in the 8 months since I've been off of HRT. But the reality is, in this nice and warm April, I still wasn't prepared for the full body crash that presented when I drove out to Sweetwater. I did not realize just how much free water and electrolyte depletion that I lost through my sweat. I haven't felt this way since officers training down in Montgomery in August of 2000. I had weakness in my hands, increased knee pain that I already have because I have bad arthritis, full body aches like I was withdrawing from life. And now that I've been back for 2 days, I'm finally feeling back to my own self. It took over 48 hours to just recover from a disastrous previous 48 hours. This just highlights how fragile our baseline is when you're on some hormonal shifts or just menopause in general. If you are rolling solo, and there's so many Black women and women that are doing this. I'm doing it from a bigger rig. I saw somebody doing it from a small Jeep. But it is difficult to manage hookups and setup when you're depleted. You have to have a full pre-flight checklist, like hydration protocols like liquid IV, which I'm waiting on my shipment now, not shipment, but my grocery order now, and other electrolyte powders before the sweating starts. And it's so difficult to be able to do it and to do it on a really unorganized RV, because my RV had been shut up for a year. I just started. It's taken me at least 2 weeks to even get it to the unorganized state. Stuff that I didn't realize that I needed. Making sure that I knew how to get the refrigerator to cut on to gas, by making sure all of the propane lines, all the air is out of that. Just a lot of things that I have to, to think of that I really haven't had to think about for a year and a half. You think living in an RV for over a year would have prepared me for this, but I've lived in an RV for over a year, 2017 to 2019. I've moved out of that at this time because I'm at the age and the stage and the weight that muscling through is not a strategy anymore. Planning for physical conservation is. I can't heal systemic inflammation if I'm being triggered by martyrs and I'm physically depleted. My goal is, this is just my personal goals. I'm pretty much still working to resurfacing my pool deck, increasing the safety of said pool deck, moving into an early retirement, and a body that is properly fueled for the road, truly the road ahead. I'm trying to move away from a state of reactive survival to a proactive planning, because tomorrow I'm getting ready to go out to Harrison Bay, one of my favorite places in the world. It proves that a state can actually have a state park and it can still be really dope luxury. I'm really focusing on rehydrating without alcohol because that basically takes it away. I'm going to be doing my hookups in stages. There's no shame in me having a chair next to it. If it takes me longer if I have to take a rest between hooking up the water and because we don't have sewer out at this site, but also taking my time when I have to dump right before I leave. Also, priority plugging in, doing all those things and arranging my RV so I get access to my Dallas Cowboys chair and I can sit in peace and make sure my pliers are in my hand just in case I need extra oomph to turn the connections. That's what I actually have to do. And I'm also going to be thinking about bringing some type of cooling tower or a spray bottle. Just when I'm flashing, I can give myself a flash of water, but also getting Angela from Real Housewives of Atlanta's, her Fangelas, that may also be an option too. She has the one that was blinged out. I'm actually looking for that. I'm going to be able to appreciate with just these changes, Harrison Bay, which is beautiful and peaceful. I'm reminding myself that I have no room for drama. My signal is off and I don't have a backup. I'm literally out of range for things that are going to block me being able to enjoy the beauty and the peace of where I got to go and where I am going. I'm reclaiming my vacation mindset because I'm a gatekeeper of my own experience. If people can't reach you to digitally unload on you, that's going to just have to be the new thing because I ain't got time for your drama. I got my own drama that I'm keeping at a low so I can enjoy the time off that I actually have. I can now really truly be honest. Oh, the trees were too thick for a signal. Well, knowing good and hell well that I got to back up, but they don't need to know that. I'm going to enjoy my rehydration and hydration with liquid IV. I'm going to take my hookup slow, and I'm going to enjoy the sound of the wind instead of a notification chime. I'm actually looking forward to going out. I'm always a little nervous about new experiences, but I'm going out with a newer mindset, which actually decreases the fear. But you have to have a certain amount of fear when you're taking things, because you actually are able to differentiate between and be able to prepare for and react to different situations. Knowing that all skin folks ain't kin folks, and that's a word, and also being your head on swivel and knowing when people are present themselves as being helpful when they're only casing the joint. My goal is just to read my books, play my video games, and prepare myself mentally and physically for the next chapters, which I'm writing because I think they're going to be exciting and financially liberating.
Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. online on time, oh so bold. Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away.
For the vast majority of people that know me, they know that, well, maybe only Camping World, but I started RVing back in 2005, 2006, when I rented my first Class C motorhome and pulled it from North Carolina all the way to Estes Park in Colorado. I worked for almost 3 weeks. I had my locums contract doctor's company also rent me a car, and I would drive daily from Estes Park down to Denver and the in-between locations. I'm glad I only did that for a short period of time, because nobody should work and have that level of stress with the traffic, the different temperaments of the providers and the staff at each location. And you were responsible for pretty sick kids. So, but the biggest part of that was I decided that, oh, let me just try this out. Oh, this is actually really, really cool. I came off the road after working to install Cerner for another contract company, and this time in Washington State. And I bought a much older, actually a 30-year-old travel trailer. Also bought my F-150, 2017 F-150, hooked it up and pulled it back to Oregon, where I lived in it for much of that year, and then into 2018, when I came back to North Carolina and worked for another facility in the eastern part of the state. Now, fast forward to 2023-ish, I bought a 2017 Thor Synergy, very low mileage, for purposes of when my sister was going through her health crisis, but I won't talk about that much now. But I've now had it in my possession since then, and went for a complete pleasure camping trip to Harrison Bay for the first time. My RV was basically in storage for the better part of the last 2 years. And then 2 years and 80 pounds pass, and I basically go back to Harrison Bay, all of a part of getting the RV together for me to be able to take a longer trek to Sedona in the upcoming month. As long as that diesel price drop, I'll be ready to go to Sedona. But I digress. And since then, a lot has changed. I've actually included FB Roasters, my online coffee shop, also promoting my Far From Bill Street online bookshop. I'm also promoting my for travel consultancy part of Dale's Angels Inc. So there's a lot of things that have changed. My outlook has changed. Developing healthy boundaries to protect my peace, being mindful, being present, decreasing toxicity and toxins in my body and inflammation. All of those things are necessary. But this trip had, and that's Ethel barking, this trip had so much more meaning for me, just chilling out at the Bay. Because I didn't do a whole bunch of pre-gaming from an electrolyte and hydration standpoint, because I had forgotten how hard it is, even though Harrison Bay is a beautiful state park, but a lot has also changed in the last couple of weeks. The staff is also older. They have been subjected to the same cuts as everywhere else in the federal system. I don't see the doge of it all, but I suspect that has led to what appears to be the park appears and the camp store appears to me to be a little bit more warm than I remember. Even though at the Sweetwater KOA, they've upgraded their Wi-Fi system. That has not happened at the state park. And it's just kind of sad. I was measuring also my time there, one flush at a time, because there are no sewer hookups on the RV sites. So I cut my trip short because I did not want to take a shower there. I did not want, I'm a little bit more fluid as far as my own bubble guts. So I really just legit wanted, and plus it was great that I'm so close to my house. I basically drove back, dumped, of course, literally the gray and water and black water tanks, and then drove on back home. Went from the RV back to my deep soaker tub, and it was great. And then there's just so much logistics that you cannot wait until the last minute. Being this age, this big back size, and this level of osteoarthritis, to wait to the last minute to get organized, to make your movements and everything more easier, just to be in a closed space. Also, being in a closed space is not for the faint of heart. You got to have working air conditioning, working plumbing system, and you also have to be cognizant of space limitations. And if you don't know how to enjoy yourself, or you don't know how to create your own level of privacy, it just really is not going to work. So that size handle or that size rig, 24 feet, is great for someone if you're by yourself and a little Heichmouth dog. But if one person has bigger ego than they are willing to admit to, or are narcissists, you cannot share that space with that level of toxicity, because somebody is going to die. And since I would pay the note, number one, I'm not going to invite you on the trip until you've done the work from a psychological standpoint. But when you camp at some place like Harrison Bay, or just in general, it is a mixture of like tactical survival. You got to manage heat, and you also got to literally manage the logistics of human waste in a very small space. It's so beautiful out there, but if you're trying to navigate your own health issues. And I got to change this because I'm also reviewing 24. I also have to update the blog post that is going to publish tomorrow morning behind the actual publication of the podcast. So the next portion of this part of the episode is just going to talk about things that I didn't realize when I actually prepped for this trip. And I'm glad I'm so glad that I did this because I've recognized some things that I have to do inherently to make a longer trip, like pulling 2,000 miles and back out to Sedona. Because once I'm basically in the desert, I'm not going to be able to just say, okay, I'm tired, I'm going to just drive back 20 minutes to my house. No, it's 2 days from 2.5, 3 days from Sedona back to my house. So there. And it's more than just space. It's about the physics that you have to take into your own body. Every time you make a move, you're cognizant of not only of the width and breadth of the RV itself, but your own breath. It's not like in a stick, when you're in a home, you don't really have to worry about just how wide your shoulders are when you're walking down the hallway. You have to, a miscalculation means that you knock over a mug of coffee or you step on your little dog that's underfoot. But Ethel's smart. She'll take off running in some way to get so I won't accidentally sit on her or fall on her. And also, being in those cramped quarters is just downright painful. Because if you have bilateral knee arthritis, you got something going on in your foot, something going on in your shoulder, trying to break in a brand new mattress on the road is not the move. Going on a shorter camping trip to break that bitch in before you head out to Sedona is the way. You got to take being organized and everything in multiple steps, because if you got to sit down or stretch because of pain and you're just in general in your body, it takes a while to get organized. And you're not trying to get organized just because it looks good for a photo. You actually have to be organized, because if you don't put stuff up, it becomes an actual hazard. And also in this context, organization is a form of pain management. Let's talk about being menopausal in a while. When you're in an RV, especially at a place like Harrison Bay, heat is an adversary. You build up internal heat inside just from hot flashes. And then the environment is pounding on the outside regardless of the AC's best efforts. I had to learn the hard way that just how much electrolytes and free water you can lose through your sweat, either before you get in the RV or while you're spending the night in the RV. And if you're not careful, you can develop severe body cramps, and also just in general, that just make existing pain from arthritis even worse. When you used to pregame before you go to the club or to a football game, you basically have to do this pregame with IV solutions, like either if you want somebody to come to your house, but also you can use liquid oral IV, plus or minus caffeine. Also, not only before the trip, hopefully days before the trip, but also after the trip to basically replenish everything that you could have lost while you were in the RV and when you were breaking down the RV before you drove home. because I found out that is true, and it's also going to take you another couple of days to start to feel back to normal and to decrease extra pain in your body. Also making sure, don't think you're going to be able to wing it without Pepsid, especially if you have reflux and a hiatal hernia, and also extra pain relievers when you basically need something to take the edge off. You have to stay ahead of the pain, because once it catches you in that small space, there's basically nowhere to run, literally. Spots and places like Harrison Bay, if you can't get, I also found this out, if you can't get the beautiful spots that truly are with the concrete pad right up against the bay, then you just can't go, because being in spot 26 in campsite B sucks. There is overhead coverage, but the actual view of the lake is blocked by a stand of trees. And there is no way I'm going to walk down there with my knees to go to the water's edge to fake fish. So there you go. You also, it's like, even though I paid these people a whole bunch of money to come and to clean out my RV, I still found layers of my other business endeavors. I still can't remember the name of the one MLM business that I did back in the day, but I found a bag that was really cool, but also the jewelry organization box that I actually had is key for if you want to bring like jewelry with you to keep it organized and keep your necklaces and stuff from tangling up. It was like an archive in there, because they really didn't get to everything. I still found cobwebs, but at the same time, I did find these things from my business past. When you're in the reality of such a small space, you let go of some of the convenience of a larger life that no longer serves what your current mission is. If it doesn't have a space, if it doesn't work for you now, it has to go. That's just the way you have to do in an RV or just in life in general. Having also space in general, but definitely countertop space is at a premium. And there is a rhyme to the method of how I use and keep your countertops clean. The area between the sink and the stovetop is actually really close. You don't want to spill anything to get into your propane-fed stovetop, but you also need space for things. There are just certain things that you have to figure that it's easy to store, but also make your life in an RV more convenient. Like my Ninja air fryer, as well as the coffee maker that I can actually use my Brazilian coffee pods from my FB roasters. Continuing some of the routine that you do in your brick and mortar house is a non-negotiable. Hot lemon water to wake up your system, making sure you still have the water to take your meds, to keep your joints and your brains focused. And then my clarity tea, which allows me to steep my blend of ginger, rosemary, dried rosemary, basil, and lemon balm that I actually grew. Basil that I grew and lemon balm that I actually grew. Helps you to basically cut through the RV fog and set the tone for the day, but also is a great way to also keep the toxins at bay. Harrison Bay itself, as I said, have been saying, is a beautiful place to be, but it is a battlefield between the heat, the insects, 2- and 4-legged predators. You just have to have your head on swivel because that's the price of the lakefront views. You also start measuring your time there. And if you have limited mobility, you measure your time not just by a clock, but one flush at a time, one shower at a time. Because if you over or underdo it, you're going to have to make way back to the dump station. And it's not an easy thing to even hook up the sewer pipe and then having to unleash all of the levers because mine has special. The black water tank is on the other side of the RV, and it's kind of hidden up underneath there, and you have to get at a weird angle to basically open as well as close it. So get some knee pads or a pad to lay on to get up and over, or some other way to elevate your girth so you can maneuver to do that operation. And there's no shame in your game. Bringing a chair or one of those other mobile units out to go from point A to point B around the RV, taking breaks, staying hydrated just to hook up as well as break everything down. You won't be able to move as fast as a pit crew in NASCAR, but you will be able to do it safely. So, and also, even though I did see some brown people that were in the next lot over, but there are a lot of black folks that camp. I'll have Black Folks Camp 2, Black RVers Camp Cultivated. They are communities that help to spotlight the experience and make room for inclusive representation of who this lifestyle is actually for. Not just if you look like a Karen, but you can look like me and actually have a great time. Hopefully I will be able to share more insight, a bit more concierge, a little bit less gray water management once you check out my DAI travel services. Hopefully I'll have some guest bloggers and curated itineraries. So in the upcoming months, so you won't actually have to do this experience. This was for someone that's basically my experience, getting back into the RV game, getting back onto the mobility, as even though my mobility is kind of hindered, it still should not keep me from actually enjoying this experience of being on the opening rope, because that is what I truly enjoyed. When you are organized, your pain is controlled, and your mind is clear and rested, the ability to just enjoy and experience and be in the moment does make for great content, in all honesty. So my apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? Let's see, terms of the scam or the terms of service. As of January 15, 2026, X updated its terms of service to explicitly state that content now includes AI prompts and AI generated output. You're doing the work. Sonny, one of the AI assistants in a program that I use, Marbleism, is managing and rendering, but X claims a global royalty-free license to use those results to train Grok. It basically says that when you use a competitor like Gemini or Marbleism, you're technically bringing foreign data into Musk's walled garden, which is viewed as pollution for training his training set. My account was unbeknownst to me until I went to check on some of the content that is produced, rendered through Marbleism and Gemini. It hadn't updated. So when I went back to my Gmail account, I pulled up where they suspended, my account was flagged inauthentic and my account was suspended. I can't comment on anything. I can't post anything. So I had to go through the whole rigmarole to decouple my X account from my Marbleism. I no longer post there anymore. I've moved content over to my Threads and Blue Sky. Blue Sky is old Twitter, the freedom without the glitchiness of what became X after it was bought by Musk. Also, there's a shadow fine. You could be fined to play 15,000 racks for unauthorized scraping. This is to basically fine third-party apps like Marbleism or other automation tools that won't pay for the official enterprise API, X-specific, that they make them pay. They want them to pay up to $42,000 a month. They frame it as, oh, we're protecting the platform from bots. I'm not a bot. But it's actually a pay-to-play scam. If your AI isn't taxed by X, it'll be flagged inauthentic. This is the racket. Pay us to be authentic or we'll label you as fake and then we'll ban you. They also want to do biometric identity harvesting. This is where inauthentic is crazy because they say for you to get back on, you got to basically have some biometric verification but you have to, again, use their biometric verification system through Authentics, Autentics, which is crazy. Why does a free speech platform need a 3D scan of your face and government ID? Because they want to verify that you're human, which is worth more than 10 times for advertisers and other AI trainers than some anonymous thing. By flagging my account it basically forces a high value creator like myself to hand over the one thing AI can't fake, my biological identity. Great. I got content for days. I'm getting ready to try to figure out. I think it's actually in my subscriptions through my iPhone that I got to basically turn that off. And then I'm getting ready to, again, deactivate my account. Because this is some narcissistic BS. Must sue, and that trial is coming up soon. He sued OpenAI for being a closed source monopoly by simultaneously creating a closed source data fortress. And he's finding people to get back because we're not stupid. That's why he's playing in our face. Elon Musk was one of the first investors before he divested from OpenAI back in the day. And when AI blew up, it's suspicious that he is suing him for probably the amount that he would have made if he had kept his original investment in it. And it's not even about the money, it's about the power, because he underestimated at the time the value of AI when he left. And now he is being subjected to paying catch up and developing his own, which is crazy to me. Why does X recognize a photographer but will punish an aesthetic architect for using Gemini? Because X can't control the intellectual property of Gemini yet, but it's trying to do with these crazy lawsuits and bans. But every time he basically comes up and does this dumb shit, people leave, just like myself. I'm actually finding the ability to be authentic on the blue skies of the world and even on Threads, because it allows you to label AI. They don't penalize you for using another AI engine. I basically am working on, even until this moment, of playing catch up on those platforms, because evidently I hadn't really posted anything on Blue Sky since 2024. I think this is a lot. Hadn't gone RVing since 2024. Now I'm waking up, posting on Blue Sky in 2024. My blog posts, for the most part, do navigate or propagate from WordPress on to Threads, but not like some of the stunning images that is created or rendered or marbleism. So I'm doing a step-by-step process of moving a lot of that data and a lot of those images onto those platforms. The irony is all of this is gatekeeping by a bunch of billionaires. And he's trapped. The trap is inauthentic activity. They say you can use AI on my platform, but only use my AI grok. Really? Boy, bye. You just mad because you were down behind the 8 ball and Gemini and ChatGPT beat you to the punch, basically recreating what has already been created and increased every single time generative media and people like myself use those platforms, as well as the NVIDIAs of the world, to basically create my content. You just gonna have to be mad, because I have no intention of not using those platforms. I'm not gonna pay tribute to a jackass And if you want to follow me, you can navigate to YouTube. You can click on the image of my AI team in the show notes, as well as the link to my new kind of a protest video that is now also on YouTube to see what I'm actually doing in the YouTube verse. And I think it's actually really good. Operation Authentic Escape. I think you guys will like it. And just let me know in the comments suggestions on what I could actually create in video and other things that you might want to see as far as my video feed. And thank you for the support. More eyes on my content, the better trained your algorithm will be. Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Where's to know and where's to grow, a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. A temporal rainbow. Shore Leave, the Intel Briefing Tactical Reading List. What exactly is shore leave? This is the leisure time spent ashore by a sailor or even a Section 31 operative wannabe from Tennessee. What am I talking about exactly? I'm talking about a reading list. Because if you are getting ready to go on leave, either you're going RV camping in a state RV park, or you're headed off to Comic-Con, or you're waiting in line while you get dissed, like some of the people at Coachella this past weekend, you deserve more than some random airport paperback. It should, if your itinerary includes private transfers, polished marinas, long golden hours on the deck of a boat, your reading list should carry the same sense of precision. Myself and everyone else, AI included, at Dale's Angels Inc., love to pair tactical storytelling and luxury travel. Books with sharp instincts, high stakes, and just enough style to feel at home beside espresso on the aft deck. I've curated a list in my Far From Bill Street bookshop, online bookshop, with the link in the podcast notes, under the Intel Briefing Tactical Narratives and High Stakes Heroism. The stack includes The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. Murderbot, it's been on, had one full season, probably may or may not get renewed for a second one, but it's on Apple. There's so much great TV watching of this ilk available now on Apple TV. Murderbot itself is a funny, guarded, hyper-competent, and deeply uninterested in unnecessary small talk. That is the cyborg that makes this series feel strangely perfect for solo reading when you're between ports. It brings espionage energy, corporate intrigue, and survival instincts without sacrificing heart. It's like modern adaptation to the Tin Man. If you also want another overtly strategic edge, you can also read The Nanotech War. This adds a clean, high-pressure feeling of mission briefing. This is the mood on shore leave where you're forward-looking, kinetic, and it's ideal for those moments when luxury travel needs a little adrenaline on the page. Then there are all the Marvel comics that include Stan Lee Essentials and Black Panther. This brings legacy, style, and heroism to the list. Black Panther in particular carries that elegant blend of strategy, power, and cultural command that suits shore leave briefing. These are for readers that want mythology, momentum, and unmistakable presence. They all travel well. You can read while you want to look glamorous in between cocktail hours with said cocktail in hand, with a soft breeze next to a destination on the horizon. When you want an overlap between story, style, and experience, this reading list doesn't have a feel of utilitarian. It's more luxurious, curated, and deeply personal. That's why this can do well while you're waiting in line through TSA while you're trying to get to Comic-Con, or when you're trying to get to your destination. Either you're chilling out in the P&S lounge while you're getting ready to fly to Australia for your 16-day cruise on a catamaran. This is the right stack of books that can turn shore leave into a fully realized reading brief. Navigate to Far From Bill Street bookstore. Listen to the podcast as such as I break down the essentials of most of these books. And when you buy a book from me, you're just not buying a book. You're supporting a community of readers and adventures. We are partnered with bookshop.org to ensure that your literary habit supports independent booksellers, independent bookstores, even when you're browsing in the middle of the ocean. Start with the featured list with the link in the details of the podcast notes. Also, you can get some of these books as part of participating in our Books and Brews subscription, where when you first sign up, you will be able to get a journal that you can manually enter your thoughts, as well as either a book of the month and or the tea and coffee of the month. Plan your travels with DEA Travel Services. Also, those links are in the podcast notes, where we can change your dreams into a reality. For luxury sailing experiences, where we prioritize comfort, culture, and compassion. The best shore leave reading does not just where you sit around and pass the time. It sharpens the mood of the trip. It gives you your quiet hours texture. It makes a luxury itinerary feel even more cinematic. Whether you reach for Murderbot, the Nanotech War, or Marvel classics anchored by Stan Lee and the Black Panther, the list is built for readers who like precision, intelligence, and a little glamour with their escapism. So clear some space in your carry-on, or better yet, head over to Far From Bill Street to stock up on your digital or your physical library. The deck chair is waiting, the coffee is brewing, and your next shore leave briefing is already on your list. And I thank you for reading, and I thank you for listening. You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happy you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of FAFFO has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. Ah, 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 What, y'all, what?